The bathroom floor shimmered under a stray sunbeam, a tiny foil circle catching Ethan Miller's eye. He froze, barefoot, heart thudding. At 40, the Seattle architect thought he knew his life. A thriving firm, a loving wife, Rachel, and their 2 kids, Noah, 8, and Lily, 5. But this speck of silver, a pill packet's remnant, whispered betrayal. Rachel hadn't taken birth control since his vasectomy 3 years ago. Why now? His stomach churned as he knelt, fingers trembling, and picked it up. Blank on one side, marked Tuesday on the other. Yesterday's pill. Daily pills. But for what? Ethan's mind raced. He was healthy, his annual physical clean. So was Rachel's. They'd laughed over their doctor's reports just weeks ago, toasting their luck with wine. No medications, no secrets. Or so he thought. The foil burned in his palm. Birth control was the obvious answer, but it made no sense. After Lily's birth, they'd agreed 2 kids were enough. Ethan had the procedure, a quick snip to seal their family's future. Rachel had no cramps, no medical need for pills. So why? Dark thoughts crept in. Was she sick? Hiding something? But the physicals were clear. Then, like a blade, the truth sliced through. Birth control meant sex. Sex with someone who could get her pregnant. Someone not him. Ethan's chest tightened, breath shallow. Rachel, his partner of 12 years, cheating? Impossible. They'd met at a downtown bar, her sharp wit and athletic grace pulling him in. A year of courtship, a wedding at 28, 2 kids, perfect, or so he'd believed. Their life wasn't flawless, but it was theirs. Wasn't it? He shoved the foil into his pocket, mind spinning. Confronting her now was reckless. Rachel was still asleep, her soft snores drifting from their bedroom. If he was wrong, he'd look paranoid. If he was right, he couldn't face that yet. He needed proof. Facts. Ethan, ever the engineer, thrived on plans. He'd build a case, piece by piece, without tipping her off. His phone glowed as he ordered DNA test kits online. Easy to swab the kids during bedtime stories. Hidden cameras, too, small enough to blend into their craftsman home's nooks. A cloning kit for her phone, just in case. Delivery to his office, no questions from Rachel. As he locked the bathroom door, Ethan searched. The pill strip had to be here. He rifled through drawers, checked behind toiletries. Nothing. Then, in a tampon box tucked under the sink, he found it. A half-empty strip, the same brand Rachel used before his surgery. His vision blurred. Why restart now? The answer was a punch to the gut. She was sleeping with someone else. Someone fertile. The room spun, but Ethan steadied himself. He replaced the strip, cleaned up, and slipped out. Rachel stirred as he passed their bed, her face serene. Too serene. At his firm's office, Ethan's day blurred. Blueprints piled up, but his mind was elsewhere. Who was it? A coworker? Her boss? Mark Thompson with his slick charm? How long had this been going on? Worse, a question he dreaded. Were Noah and Lily even his? The thought was a knife twisting deeper. He'd rocked them to sleep, built treehouses, kissed scraped knees. They were his. They had to be. But doubt gnawed. He needed those DNA results. Until then, he'd watch Rachel. Every move, every word. Home that evening, Rachel was her usual self. Chatty about work, kissing Noah's forehead, tucking Lily in. Their au pair, Jenna, had left for the day. Ethan forced smiles, his skin crawling as Rachel brushed his arm. Their sex life was steady, weekends mostly, nothing suspicious. No odd scents, no rushed showers. Either she was innocent or she was a master at hiding. Ethan's cameras would arrive tomorrow. He'd hide them in the bathroom, living room, bedroom. If she was cheating, he'd see it. If not, he'd breathe again. That night, Ethan lay awake beside Rachel, her breathing soft, his mind a storm. The foil circle, now in his desk drawer, was a ticking bomb. He pictured her with another man, laughing, touching. Anger flared, then fear. What if he lost everything? His kids, his home, his trust? He needed answers, but each step felt like edging toward a cliff. Tomorrow he'd start. Cameras, DNA, phone clones. He'd unravel her secrets or prove her loyalty. Either way, Ethan Miller wasn't a man who'd stay in the dark. Ethan Miller's office was a sanctuary of blueprints and order, but today it felt like a cage. The foil circle from the bathroom pill packet sat locked in his desk drawer, a silent accusation. At 40, he'd built a life he thought was unshakable. A Seattle architectural firm, a wife, Rachel, and their kids, Noah and Lily. Now, doubt poisoned everything. Was Rachel cheating? Were the kids his? The questions gnawed. But Ethan wasn't a man to act on impulse. He needed evidence, and his plan was in motion. The delivery arrived at his office by noon, discreetly labeled to avoid questions. DNA test kits, 3 tiny cameras, a phone cloning device, and a burner phone. His colleague Emma, his sharp-eyed project manager, raised an eyebrow as he signed for the package. "Big project?" she asked, her tone light but curious. Ethan forced a grin. "Just some tech upgrades." Her green eyes lingered, but she nodded and left. Emma had been with the firm for years, her quiet competence a constant. He pushed the thought aside. Focus. Back home, Rachel was at her marketing job, the kids with their au pair, Jenna. Ethan moved fast. He hid a camera in the bathroom tucked behind a vent, its lens peering at the sink. Another went in the living room, disguised in a bookshelf. The third in their bedroom, nestled in a picture frame angled toward the bed. His hands shook as he wired them to a secure app on his phone. If Rachel was hiding something, these would catch it. He swabbed his own cheek for the DNA test, sealing it in an envelope. Noah and Lily's swabs would come tonight during bedtime stories. Easy, unnoticed. Cloning Rachel's phone was trickier. He needed her device just for a few minutes. That evening, as Rachel cooked dinner, her phone sat on the counter buzzing with a work email. "I'll grab the kids," Ethan said, snatching her phone as he passed. In his office, he connected it to the cloning kit, heart pounding. The progress bar crawled. Footsteps approached, Rachel calling for Noah. Ethan shoved the phone back just as she poked her head in. "You okay?" she asked, her smile soft. He nodded, throat tight. "Just checking emails." She bought it, turning away. The clone was done, mirrored on his burner phone. Later, in bed, Ethan scrolled through the clone data. Texts, emails, calls, nothing unusual. Work chats, grocery lists, a message to her sister about Lily's dance class. Too clean. Either Rachel was innocent or she was meticulous. He watched her sleep, her dark hair spilling over the pillow, and felt a pang. 12 years together, how could he doubt her? But the pill strip lingered in his mind, a taunt. He needed more. The next morning, Ethan worked from home, claiming a deadline. Rachel kissed him goodbye, her perfume familiar, her routine unchanged. Once her car pulled away, he checked the camera feeds. The bathroom footage showed nothing new, no pills, no secrets. The living room was just Jenna playing with the kids. But the bedroom feed stopped him cold. Last night, after he'd gone to the kitchen, Rachel had sat on their bed, texting furiously. Not on her usual phone. A second one pulled from the air vent by their dresser. Ethan's pulse spiked. A secret phone? He rewound, zoomed. The screen was blurry, but her fingers flew, a faint smile on her lips. She hid the phone back in the vent before joining him downstairs. Ethan's breath hitched. This was it, proof she was hiding something. He crept to the bedroom, heart hammering, and opened the vent. There it was, a cheap burner phone, no lock. He powered it on, but a noise, Jenna calling the kids, made him freeze. He pocketed the phone and retreated to his office, locking the door. Cloning it to his burner took seconds. Messages loaded and his world tilted. Texts to an unnamed contact, no number saved. "Missed you last night," one read. "Can't wait for Friday." Another, "He doesn't suspect a thing." Intimate details followed, things only a lover would know, like a scar on her hip Ethan had kissed 1,000 times. His vision blurred, rage and grief colliding. He needed to know who. Was it Mark, her charismatic boss? A coworker? Someone from before their marriage? The texts mentioned meetings at a downtown hotel, always when Ethan was at work. He cross-checked Rachel's calendar, her late meetings aligned perfectly. Ethan's engineer brain kicked in, plotting. He ordered voice recorders to hide in her car and bag, small enough to go unnoticed. The DNA results would come in 2 days. Until then, he'd watch, wait, and build his case. That night, bedtime was torture. Noah begged for another story, his brown eyes wide. Lily clutched her stuffed bunny, giggling as Ethan tucked her in. He swabbed their cheeks, masking it as a playful tickle. "Just checking for monster germs," he teased, his voice steady despite the ache in his chest. Were they his? He sealed the swabs, mailed them, and returned to Rachel, who was sipping tea, oblivious. "Good day?" she asked. He nodded, lying as easily as she did. Friday came and Ethan left work early, claiming a headache. Jenna was feeding the kids dinner. He hid a recorder in Rachel's car, another in her purse. The bedroom camera had more, Rachel texting on the secret phone again, her expression sly. She slipped it into the vent, then left 4 drinks with colleagues. Ethan checked the cloned burner. A new message, meet me at the usual, 8 p.m. He could follow her, confront her now, but no. He needed the DNA results, the full truth. If he acted too soon, she'd cover her tracks. Instead, he checked the cameras again. The living room showed Noah drawing Lily dancing. The bathroom was empty. But the bedroom feed from this morning revealed Rachel retrieving the secret phone before work, tucking it into her bag. She was taking it with her. Ethan's jaw clenched. She was meeting him tonight supplement. Ethan Miller's world hung by a thread, the glow of his burner phone casting shadows in his darkened office. The Seattle rain drummed outside, mirroring the storm in his chest. At 40, he'd built a life he thought was solid, a successful architectural firm, a wife, Rachel, and their kids, Noah, 8, and Lily, 5, but the foil circle from her birth control pills, the secret phone hidden in their bedroom vent, and its incriminating texts had cracked that foundation. Rachel was cheating. Ethan needed to know who and if Noah and Lily were his. The DNA results were due today and dread coiled tighter with each passing hour. He hadn't slept. Last night, Rachel had returned from her work drinks at midnight, her perfume masking a faint cologne Ethan didn't recognize. She'd slid into bed, oblivious to his clenched fists under the covers. The voice recorders in her car and purse had picked up nothing but routine chatter, work calls, a grocery list. She was careful, too careful. But the bedroom camera feed burned in his mind, Rachel texting on her secret phone, smiling as she hid it in the vent. The cloned messages seared worse, he's clueless. See you soon. Intimate details, her scar, her laugh as shared with someone else. Ethan's throat burned. 12 years of marriage, a lie? His phone pinged at noon. The DNA lab's email. His finger hovered over the link, heart pounding like a jackhammer. He couldn't do it alone. He texted Emma, his project manager, who'd been a quiet anchor at the firm for years. Need you at the office. Urgent. She arrived in minutes, her red hair damp from the rain, green eyes sharp with concern. Ethan, what's wrong? She asked, closing the door. He slid the phone to her, unable to speak. Check it, he whispered. Emma's brow furrowed, but she clicked the link, scrolling silently. Her face fell, lips parting. Ethan watched, searching for clues in her expression, his breath shallow. I'm so sorry, she said softly, sliding the phone back. Ethan's vision blurred as he read the results. Neither Noah nor Lily was his. They shared the same father, but it wasn't him. The words hit like a sledgehammer, shattering the last hope he'd clung to. He'd built treehouses, kissed boo-boos, planned college funds for kids who weren't his. Rage surged, then grief. He gripped the desk, knuckles white. Emma reached for his hand, her touch grounding. You'll get through this, she said, her voice steady. But you need a plan. Ethan nodded, swallowing the lump in his throat. He'd hired a private investigator through his lawyer, Sarah, yesterday, desperate for answers about Rachel's lover. Sarah's call came as Emma left. Ethan, we've got something, she said. Meet me at my office now. Ethan drove through the rain, mind racing. Sarah's office was stark, all glass and steel, a contrast to his churning emotions. She slid a folder across her desk. The PI tailed Rachel last night. She met Mark Thompson, her boss, at the Westin Hotel. They've been meeting for months, maybe years. Ethan's jaw clenched. Mark, the slick executive at Rachel's marketing firm, always too friendly at company parties. The PI's photos showed them in the hotel lobby, Rachel's hand on Mark's arm, his smile proprietary. Worse, Sarah had accessed Ethan's home camera footage. Last night, while he was at the office, Mark had entered their house with his own key. The living room feed showed Noah running to him, shouting, Daddy Mark. Lily giggled, hugging Mark's leg. Ethan's heart splintered. His son, his boy, calling another man Daddy. He turned away, tears burning, unable to watch more. Sarah's voice was calm but firm. We have options, Ethan. Legal ones. Your prenup protects the firm, and we can sue Mark for alienation of affection, Rachel for falsifying birth certificates, and their company for violating its anti-fraternization policy. You can expose this, publicly, to her colleagues, friends, family. It's nuclear, but it's lawful. Ethan's engineer brain kicked in, plotting. Confronting Rachel now risked her spinning a lie. No, he'd build an airtight case. Do it, he said, voice hard. All of it. A new twist hit as Sarah handed him another report. The PI had dug into Rachel's work emails, hacked, legally, through a court order. She'd been funneling small sums from her firm's accounts, likely to fund her secret life with Mark. This strengthens our case, Sarah said. It's fraud. We can hit her company hard. Ethan's anger flared anew. Rachel wasn't just cheating, she was sabotaging his future to secure hers. He trusted her, loved her, and she betrayed everything. Back home, Ethan kept up the facade. Rachel was cooking, humming as if nothing was wrong. Long day? She asked, smiling. He grunted, avoiding her eyes. The kids were at the table, Noah sketching, Lily coloring. Ethan's chest ached, they weren't his, but he loved them. Could he walk away? He tucked them in, memorizing their faces, then checked the burner phone. A new text from Rachel to Mark, he's home tonight. Tomorrow. Ethan's blood boiled. She was planning her next move right under his nose. As he lay in bed, Rachel's breathing soft beside him, Ethan's mind raced. Tomorrow, he'd swap the camera drives, check the voice recorders. Sarah would start the lawsuits and he'd send evidence to Rachel's family and colleagues. But a new fear gripped him. What if Mark fought back? He was powerful, connected. Ethan needed to be ready. The rain outside intensified, a storm brewing. So was he. Ethan Miller sat in his Seattle office, the city's gray skyline blurring through the rain-streaked window. At 40, he'd thought his life, his architectural firm, his wife Rachel, their kids Noah and Lily was unshakable. Now, the truth burned, Rachel's affair with her boss, Mark Thompson, and the DNA proof that neither child was his. The bedroom camera footage of Noah calling Mark Daddy played on a loop in his mind, each frame a fresh wound. But Ethan wasn't broken. He was angry, focused, and ready to act. His lawyer, Sarah, had laid out a plan, legal, ruthless, and airtight. Today he'd unleash it. Sarah's office was a war room by noon. Files stacked high, her laptop open to a draft lawsuit. We've got them, she said, sliding papers to Ethan. Your prenup shields the firm. We're suing Mark for alienation of affection, Rachel for falsifying birth certificates, and their company for violating its anti-fraternization policy. The PI's evidence, texts, hotel receipts, Rachel's siphoned funds makes it ironclad. Ethan's jaw tightened. Rachel had funneled money from her firm, likely to bankroll her secret life. And the exposure? He asked. Sarah grinned. We're sending a media package to her family, colleagues, and social circle. Everyone will know. Ethan nodded, his engineer's mind calculating. Public shame would hit Rachel harder than any lawsuit. He'd approved a courier to deliver evidence packets, texts, DNA results, camera stills to Rachel's parents, her sister, and her firm's board. Her LinkedIn contacts would get emails. Her church group, too. No corner of her life would stay untouched. But a new twist stopped him cold. Sarah handed him a report. The PI found Mark's wife, Claire, hired her own investigator. She's filing for divorce, citing Rachel's affair. She wants to meet you. Ethan drove to Claire's upscale condo, nerves taut. Claire, poised but weary, opened the door. I suspected for years, she said, voice low. But Mark was careful. I'm sorry, Ethan. I should have warned you. She handed him a USB drive. My PI's footage. Mark and Rachel at our cabin last month. Use it. Ethan's stomach twisted. The betrayal wasn't just personal, it was a double life, planned and funded. He thanked Claire, her quiet fury mirroring his own. Back at Sarah's, they added the footage to the lawsuit, strengthening their case. That evening, Ethan kept up the charade at home. Rachel was oblivious, chatting about work as she fed Lily. Noah sketched nearby, his daddy Mark echoing in Ethan's ears. He forced a smile, but his burner phone buzzed with a new text from Rachel to Mark. He's acting weird. We need to talk. Ethan's pulse spiked. Was she onto him? He swapped the camera drives, heart racing as he hid in his office. The bedroom feed showed Rachel checking her secret phone, her face tense. She typed, tomorrow, usual spot. I'm worried. Ethan's fists clenched. She was slipping and he was ready. Sarah moved fast. By morning, the lawsuits were filed. Ethan's firm was safe thanks to the prenup, but he took it further. He transferred his assets, savings, equity into an offshore trust, naming himself CEO with a minimal salary. Rachel couldn't touch it. The media packages went out at 10 a.m., timed for maximum impact. Rachel's phone lit up as her sister called, then her boss. Ethan worked from home, claiming a project, and watched her unravel. She stormed into his office, face pale. What did you do? She demanded, holding the evidence packet. Ethan met her eyes, cold. The truth. Rachel's voice cracked. Ethan, please, let me explain, he cut her off. 9 years of lies. You faked our kid's paternity. You stole from your firm. I'm done. She flinched, tears welling, but Ethan felt nothing. The au pair, Jenna, hovered nearby, eyes wide. Ethan turned to her. You knew, didn't you? About Mark. Jenna stammered, then nodded. You're fired, Ethan said. Leave. Rachel gasped. You can't. Ethan held up a hand. I pay her. She's gone. And so are you. Pack your things. This house is mine. Rachel's phone buzzed again, her firm likely firing her for the fraud and affair. She sank into a chair, sobbing. Ethan walked away, heart heavy but resolute. Sarah called as he reached his office. It's done. The company's settling to avoid a public scandal. Mark's out, no pension. Rachel's job is safe for now, but she's radioactive. And Claire's divorce is moving forward. Ethan exhaled. It was working. But a new fear hit. Mark was powerful. What if he retaliated? A text from Emma broke his thoughts. Check your email. Now. Ethan opened it, pulse racing. An anonymous message, no sender. You'll regret this, Miller. Was it Mark? Rachel? Someone else? The game wasn't over. Ethan Miller stood in his Seattle office, the city's rain-soaked skyline a muted backdrop to his fractured world. At 40, he'd lost what he thought defined him, his wife, Rachel, their kids, Noah and Lily, and the trust he'd built over 12 years. Her affair with her boss, Mark Thompson, and the DNA proof that the kids weren't his had shattered everything. But Ethan's lawful revenge, lawsuits, public exposure, asset protection had hit hard. Rachel's life was in ruins, her job teetering, her reputation shredded, her lies exposed. Yet, as Ethan stared at the anonymous email, you'll regret this, Miller, a chill lingered. Was Mark planning a counterattack? His lawyer, Sarah, called at noon. It's over, Ethan. Rachel's firm settled for $750,000 to bury the scandal. Mark's fired, no pension. Rachel keeps her job for now, but she's untouchable. Your prenup held, she gets nothing but half the joint account, $4,000. Ethan exhaled, the weight lifting slightly. The offshore trust he'd set up shielded his architectural firm, his salary slashed to dodge alimony. Mark's wife, Claire, had filed for divorce, her PI's footage of Mark and Rachel sealing his fate. But the email nagged. Sarah's voice sharpened. We traced it. Rachel sent it, a desperate bluff. She's got nothing left. Ethan's relief was bittersweet. Rachel's betrayal cut deep, but her threat was hollow. He'd won, legally, morally, but victory felt empty. Noah and Lily, not his by blood, still haunted him. He'd loved them, built their world. Could he abandon them? Sarah had one more surprise. I checked with a clinic. Your vasectomy's reversible, 95% success rate. You can still be a father. Ethan's eyes stung. A future he'd thought stolen flickered back to life. He wasn't done yet. Back home, the house felt like a ghost. Rachel had moved out, taking Noah and Lily to her parents. Ethan had told her to leave, his voice cold as he handed her Sarah's card. Talk to my lawyer. She cried, begging for a chance to explain, but Ethan was deaf to her pleas. The au pair, Jenna, was gone, fired for complicity. The silence was deafening. He listed the house for sale, paying off the mortgage with the lawsuit funds. A fresh start beckoned, but where? Emma, his project manager, knocked on his office door that evening. Her red hair was tucked behind her ears, green eyes soft but resolute. She'd been his rock, checking the DNA results, driving him to Sarah's, believing in him. You're free, Ethan, she said, setting a coffee on his desk. Then, a micro-twist, she slid a letter across. Read it. Ethan's brow furrowed. It was her resignation. I'm leaving the firm, she said, voice trembling. I've loved you for years, Ethan. You never saw me that way, and I respected that. But I can't stay watching you rebuild without me. Ethan's breath caught. Emma? He'd never noticed her quiet glances, her steady presence. She'd defended him against a sleazy partner years ago, her fierce loyalty saving the firm. Now he saw her, really saw her. Don't go, he said, voice raw. I was blind, Emma. But I'm not anymore. Give me a chance. Her eyes widened, a tear falling. She nodded, a tentative smile breaking through. They weren't there yet, but the spark was real. A new beginning. 2 months later, Ethan stood in a new apartment, the city's lights glittering outside. The house sale had cleared his debts, the lawsuit money repaid his firm's pension fund. Rachel lived with her parents, shunned by her circle, her career in tatters. Her firm kept her on, but only to avoid more lawsuits. Mark, stripped of his wealth, worked a mid-level job, his connections useless. Claire had moved on, her divorce final. Ethan didn't care. They'd made their beds. A final twist came via Sarah. Rachel had tried to sue for custody, claiming Ethan was the kid's emotional father. The judge dismissed it, citing her fraud. Noah and Lily were with her, but Ethan couldn't see them, not yet. He loved them, but the wound was too raw. Maybe one day he'd reach out. For now, he focused on himself. He'd scheduled the vasectomy reversal, hope kindling. Emma was by his side, their bond growing. Dinners turned to dates, her laugh a balm to his scars. Ethan looked out at Seattle, the rain easing. Rachel's betrayal had broken him, but he'd rebuilt stronger. Justice was served not with fists, but with truth. He wasn't the man who'd found that foil circle. He was free, ready to love again, to father his own kids someday. With Emma's hand in his, he stepped into the light.